Cody. Jimmy, I know last night was a rough one. We'll get into that, but otherwise, everything good with you?
Yeah, everything's going well. I'm excited for today's show. I know we're gonna have a lot of people on. I think like four or five maybe, so that's a pretty big amount. So yeah, I'm excited. We're doing callers today for the first time. Obviously, if you want to reach out in the future and come on, be a part of the show, just reach out to us via social media, and we'll be more than happy to get you on. That's for the future. But as for today's show, excited.
Yeah, like I said, we have some special guests coming on. Our first guest will be on at 1:10 in about 9 minutes from now. But before we have our guests on, we are going to briefly touch on last night's Thursday night game. And Jimmy, I know how you're feeling this morning. This afternoon, rather. Probably not too happy. Your Denver Broncos took a tough one last night in Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns defeated the Broncos 17-14. To be honest, I didn't see much of this game. I watched a little bit of the highlights. It just seemed like the offense just didn't get it done. I mean, most of the time when your defense holds another team to 17 points, you would think, oh, you're going to be right in the thick of the game. And the Broncos were in the game. I mean, they had chances. You saw they were down 17-7. They cut it to 17-14, but they were unable to trim the deficit more. What do you take away from last night? What do you think the main problem was, or problems?
The problem? I don't even know how much time we have.
8 minutes. You can take all 8 minutes if you want to.
Disaster. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I'll start with this. I thought Teddy Bridgewater didn't really play that good. He underthrew John Brown, who was wide open in the end zone. That should have been 7 points on the board for us. He completely underthrew him. I thought that was terrible. I'm so sick and tired of watching Teddy Bridgewater check the ball down when it's 3rd and 8. So I wasn't happy with that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't know where the team would be at if Drew Lock was the quarterback, but I think it's pretty safe to say that the Broncos season is more than likely done. I wouldn't mind them giving Drew Lock another chance. I just want to put that out there. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is like the future of the team. Like, I think it's pretty evident. Like, there's going to be another quarterback coming in. Heck, I actually wouldn't even mind them giving Brett Rippon a chance. Like, honestly.
Wow.
And I know he's the 3rd stringer, but he's 1-0 as a starter, and he has gotten better throughout his time, at least from what I can see. So, you know what? I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I've seen enough Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, no offense to the guy. I understand he's had a tumultuous career, but I'm done with him. Like, I just can't take to see it anymore. The play calling, I mean, I say it every week. It's terrible. It's the most predictable offense in the NFL. Maybe besides the Steelers, they have a pretty predictable offense too. Javonte Williams barely got the ball, and when he did, he made stuff happen. But I mean, they barely got him the ball, and it's just been.
He only had 4 carries.
Yeah, I was gonna say he had 4 carries, and he did score a touchdown. He made some nice plays and out there. I mean, this is a guy we traded up for in the 2nd round. Like, use him. Running backs don't have a long. If you're gonna move, especially in a league where running backs don't have a long shelf life, like I just said. So that's a problem is they make defense to get these defensive backs. Landry for most of the night, and he did a good job. I thought there were a lot of good plays. Obviously, Jarvis Landry is a good receiver, and he did a good job. Patrick Surtain out of Alabama, of course, is who we're talking about. I thought he did a good thing here. That, I mean, next couple of years, obviously, he was a 1st-round pick, so I think that's a one bright. Besides that, I thought it was an absolute dumpster fire. Kyle Fuller's terrible. Justin Simmons, he was an all-pro last year. He does not look the same at all. Who else? Ronald Darby. I mean, he was a pretty big signing for us in the offseason. He got burnt. I mean, he was terrible. I don't know. And Von Miller talked all this stuff all week about how he said, I don't know who the left tackle is going to be, but I'm going to kill him. Well, yeah, that happens, and then he gets hurt, and he did nothing.
Yeah. It's just sad because you would think coming into the game, Cleveland's down their quarterback.
Exactly.
And their top 2 running backs.
And they came right down the field and scored a touchdown. The first drive.
So you're thinking coming in, oh, the stars are all aligned for the Broncos. They should win this game. They should take advantage of the injuries on the other side. It's too bad because they did not. They're sitting out 3-4. Do you think the season's done? Like you said, the season's done in your mind. Is it actually?
No, it's done. It's done because think about this. Still have to play Kansas City twice. Still have to play the Chargers twice. Still have to play the Cowboys. What are we up to? 7 losses now? That's 11 losses right there.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah. I mean, they have literally won. I think they have 2 winnable games left, if you want my honest opinion. That's okay. I'm sorry. Maybe 3. The Lions, the Eagles, and the Washington football team.
Wow. Yeah.
So 6-11 is probably what we're going to be at.
Do you think Fangio will go to lock?
He's gone. I thought you said, is he going to be the coach?
Well, I can ask you that too.
He's gone after this year. The players clearly don't want to play for him. There's no resiliency amongst this group. They're terrible. They have no will to go out as a team right now and actually put together a good performance.
Do you think he'll make a switch to Drew Lock? Do you think that happen?
Here's part of the reason, and this is something that I talk about a lot. I think that the Broncos coaches don't want to admit that they are part of the reason for Drew Lock's failure, specifically Pat Shurmur. And so they honestly are against Drew Lock. They've been against him since the very beginning. They've been so not in his corner. And I think they don't want to admit that Teddy Bridgewater really isn't that much of a difference compared to Drew Lock. Like we always hear, Teddy Bridgewater's a safer quarterback. Well, he's had 7 turnovers in the last 4 games.
That's not going to cut it.
That's awful. That's awful.
And that's the thing that Drew Lock has been criticized for. Yeah,
exactly. What's the difference though? And here's the thing. Like I know I keep going back to this, and I've said it quite a few times. Drew Lock's first season in the NFL, he just wasn't that bad. I'm sorry, he wasn't. They were 4-1 with him as a starter. They beat some decent teams.
Do you think if Locke was the Week 1 starter up to this point, do you think the Broncos?
No, I don't think it would make a difference.
Do you think they'd be better than 3 and 4?
No, I don't think it would make a difference in the season. My point is the reason I think that Drew Lock has gotten so, his career has basically been turned upside down. I think Pat Shurmur has a lot to do with it. I think he's a horrible coach. I mean, the guy came into New York. He made Eli Manning look terrible. Daniel Jones is having pretty much his best season ever, with the exception of last. In the early 2000s. But I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, you're an Eagles fan. He worked for you guys for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, were you impressed with him? I mean, the guy's been a head coach for how many teams? He stinks. Like, why does he keep getting hired?
I don't know.
I don't know. And you know what it is too. And it comes back to this for the Broncos. They don't have an owner. They don't have an owner right now. So there's nobody to make decisions.
I mean, they do say it all starts at the top.
It does. And when it's John Elway just running the show and Joe Ellis, who's the CEO, I mean, obviously John Elway just gave himself a promotion. You think he's getting out of there anytime soon? No. It's just a dumpster fire from the top. You're completely correct about that.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate because they're in such a tough division. And like you said, you just outlined some teams they still haven't played, like Kansas City, twice, the Chargers, each twice. Not to mention the Chiefs, Chargers are in their division.
What do you think? How many points you think the Broncos give us those 3 teams? 100? Maybe?
Of what, the Cowboys, Chiefs, and Chargers?
I say under 130 points. How many points do you think they give up between those?
So how many games is that? 5?
Okay, I'm sorry. It's 5 games. All right, I'll say this. 200 points. You think they give more than 200 points in those 5 games?
No way.
I think they might.
You really think so?
Yeah, I think they do.
The defense is talented.
The defense is awful. That's what it is. All right, so you want to get into calls? We're doing something new today. Obviously, we want to get into that?
Yes.
All right, let's take our first call. All right, so we got Eddie Rene coming on. Obviously, he's your roommate. So, let's see what he has to say now.
Yeah, we're going to kind of let Eddie just do the talking.
Eddie, what's going on, Eddie? How you doing today?
Good. How are you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
You got to turn the Zoom on, Jeff. Or not the Zoom. Click the button on the board.
Right.
Poor Eddie's talking here.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Can you talk now? I think we can hear you now.
Yeah, there we go. Thanks for having me, guys. Happy to be here.
Oh, my God. Jeez, Jeff.
It's on.
Is he on the air? Is the volume up?
Wait, let me try this one. It might be this one.
It's the second one.
Talk now. I think we're good now.
What's up, guys?
Oh, there he is. There you go.
There we go.
Got it together. Finally, Jeffrey.
We're in business.
Jimmy, I think you should host. I'm clearly not getting it done here.
Maybe. I knew it was the second one. It is a little confusing. All right, Eddie. So obviously you just heard us talk about the Broncos. We're on the topic of the NFL here. So hit us. What are you thinking? What do you
Anything. You could do
anything?
NBA, MLB.
Yeah, I'll
anything
talk
you want.
some. I'll talk some NBA.
All right, let's hear about it. You're a Sixers fan. I see your flag in the background. Obviously, let's talk about the news that came out today.
Yeah,
Ben
that's
Simmons. What are you thinking about that? Obviously, you want to fill us in.
well, it's been a circus this whole week. I feel like every single day there's been something new coming out. And now with this mental health thing, I mean, mental health is an important thing here, but almost kind of seems like news. But again, mental health. Like I'm not trying to disrespect him or underplay that or anything. But I just went on Twitter and I saw Tobias Harris quoted the tweet and said was like, we'll welcome him, get him through this time. We'll welcome him back with love. Like our brother, and Tyrese Maxey also like retweeted it and put like the 100 emoji or something. So, maybe this is a step in the right direction to get him back. I don't know at this point.
Can I be honest with you? The one thing that I saw in the tweet from Shams was how all the Sixers took responsibility. And I've been saying on this show that it's all the whole team's fault, not just Ben Simmons. What do you guys think about that? Because I was talking to your other roommate, Christian, the other day. He blamed the whole thing on Ben Simmons. I'm like, look at the situation. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Well, listen, obviously, Simmons is definitely a part of the problem. Just you point back to the second round series against the Hawks.
The whole team threw him under the bus.
Well, I'm getting to that. Just let me finish. Listen, when you don't show up in the biggest moments, especially in a city like Philly, the fans, myself included, are going to throw you under the bus. I mean, if you don't perform up to your expectations, obviously we're going to not be happy. And we clearly saw that in the playoff series against Atlanta. He did not play well when we needed him to play well. And listen, losing that series is not solely on him, but when you're right under the basket and you pass the ball, I mean, that's just the one moment that sticks in your mind. I mean, you can't etch that from your memory.
But there's a difference between the fans getting on you and your own teammates.
But listen, the team, obviously, I mean, it's a team game. Basketball's a team game.
Yeah,
so, one person can't lose you like a whole series. Listen, the team could have played better. I mean, MB can't do much better than like 30 a night. I mean, what is he supposed to do? I mean, obviously the rest of the team could step up, but the whole situation now with the reports coming out, it's a mixed bag because I heard one report that they were clearing the air and that everyone's taking responsibility, like you said, Jimmy, but also that Simmons is having mental health issues. And I agree with you, Eddie. Like mental health, it's obviously a serious issue, not just for him, but like for anyone who's dealing with it. But I don't know. It's just, I think it's rubbing in the wrong direction. I feel like we need to get to the point where we just need the truth to come out. The truth is the only way that we can move forward, and people need to own up to their mistakes.
If you had to blame a group of people beside either of you, Eddie, you included, besides Ben Simmons, is there anyone else that you'd like to place some blame on?
Wait, real quick.
I can think of a person.
Go ahead.
I want to respond to Jimmy real quick about the teammates and like that whole accountability thing. I do agree. Like I agree with Jeffrey, but I do see how like Ben Simmons could feel like, ticked off or whatever you want to say about like the teammates, and even Doc Rivers threw him under the bus as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So that I understand. But at the same time, you're a professional athlete. That's something that you need to sit down with your teammates. You need to sit down with your coach and you address that. You don't stop talking to the team. You don't do like this is extreme. Like this is so dramatic. But I do like I can understand like why he would be upset and whatever. But that's something as a professional athlete, you got to talk it out, address it. I didn't like this. Boom. Like work it out. Your teammates at the end of the day, like work this out. Like this is extreme. This is very extreme for something like that. And then to blame people, I do think Doc Rivers, what he said was like, I think that was kind of stupid looking back on it. And I get his frustration, but like, why say it? But so if I want to blame anyone besides Ben Simmons to answer that question, I would probably throw Doc Rivers in there before any of his teammates because Embiid was hurt. So, but yeah, that's my 2 cents.
And the other thing that kind of, I don't know, it puts a little blame on Simmons. He wasn't even willing to like resolve it because when you're like in the practice and you just show up and then you leave, and then the other thing was he wasn't even.
I'm not doing defensive drills.
He wasn't even in the team huddle at the end. Like you saw him walk away in the one video. That's just a bad sign.
That was on Twitter? I didn't see that video.
Yeah, he just walked away from the end of the practice when they were huddling up.
Oh, I would have did the same thing.
I just think he's being a little selfish.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'd say it's also a little selfish for a coach who has a lot of experience to throw one player under the bus for his complete colossal failure of coaching.
I just think
his complete colossal failure of the players, or not his, but the players other players on the team. Colossal failure on the court. Hey, Ben Simmons isn't the only one out there playing defense. He wasn't getting cooked by Trae Young.
No.
That was somebody else.
I think to sum it all up, he's just not being very professional.
No one has been professional the whole time.
But I just think he's acting so childish.
Sure,
he's
he
not
is.
even willing to put the team first. I think he's putting himself first. I think that's my issue.
My point is, and I know I've been on the flip side of all you guys throughout this whole situation. I'm just saying, I'm not like some staunch Ben Simmons defender, but I just think that there's plenty of blame to go around, and you guys are just so fixated on him. You're just looking, he's the fall man. Like, I think there's literally plenty of blame to go around for that whole team. Listen, like you said earlier, Jeffrey, Ben Simmons didn't blow the lead. The Sixers did. It's a team game.
I understand.
It's a team effort.
I understand that. But when you're paid so much money like he is, and you can't even take a shot within the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter of a second round playoff series, that's disgraceful.
No, it is.
I understand
the contract, though. They're the ones who gave him the contract.
Just back in here.
Yeah, no. So I understand that other guys need to step up, and one guy you could say is Tobias Harris, because we paid him probably at the time more than he deserved. He kind of had to earn that money, like we did with Zach Wheeler, Phillies. I know off topic, but at least he was taking shots. He was still aggressive, and Ben, like Jeffrey said, Ben Simmons wasn't. But again, I agree that there is more to blame than Ben Simmons, and maybe it is getting taken out of it's all coming out on him. But it's also he's being childish. But yeah, everyone in the party can be held accountable for some things.
For sure.
It's just a mess. It's going to take forever to be resolved, but it's so frustrating.
Real quick, Eddie, because obviously we've pretty much hit everything on this conversation real quick. How do you think the team is going to do going forward? Obviously, they played pretty well the other night in New Orleans.
Big game tonight against Brooklyn.
Yeah, they have a big game tonight against Brooklyn.
Big game tonight.
How do you think season-wise, how do you think this is all going to work out?
Realistically, without
realistically. What do you think the end result here?
I like Maxey. I like Maxey a lot, stepping in as a starting point guard, but obviously it's down. I mean, it's Ben Simmons. I think realistically, 4 or 5 seed. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe 4 to 6. I seriously don't know. Without him, it's tough to say. Shake Milton's hurt right now, but I like Maxey and Shake Milton coming in to play point guard. But it's tough. And then are we going to get role players for Ben Simmons without him and just sitting out? Yeah, realistically, I don't know, mid to middle of the East, I guess. I don't even know, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
how the season starts.
Quickly before we.
No, I agree. I think we're going to be a middle of the pack playoff team.
All right.
I mean, listen,
I agree.
We'll definitely be worse, but you compare us to the rest of the East, we're still one of the better teams.
All right. Well.
Yeah. Right. Well, anything else you want to touch on, Eddie? We have about a minute or two left here.
No, I think we about covered. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
No problem, Eddie. Thank you for being a part of the show today.
Thank you for your insight.
Look forward to listening.
All right, thank you.
Definitely have you on sometime again soon.
First time, long time.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to move on to the next caller? All right, we got you know who the next caller is? One of our personal favorites.
Yes. This is great. We're playing roulette here.
Yeah, I know. We literally
are.
Fun. We literally are playing roulette here. So
the
next guy we got here is Matt McHale when he officially joins. But anyway, real quick. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's coming.
Matty M.
Hey,
Mr. McHale.
How's it going?
How's it going, dude?
Good. So I had actually I was listening earlier, and I actually do agree that the Broncos should get rid of Fangio.
Yeah.
I actually have a pretty good idea of who they should replace.
Okay, who's that? If you say Jason Garrett, you're off the show.
What would you think if they hired Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as their head coach?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So you just waited in the room for however long to say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That was what you wanted to come on here and say today. That was what you called me for. That's what you wanted to do today. You wanted to do that. You're gone. He's out of the show. I just removed him because I don't want him. He's gone. Why isn't it removing him? Oh my God. I'm trying to get him out. There he is. He's gone.
Did you actually just kick him off?
Yeah, I kicked him off for that.
Oh
I kicked him off.
God.
That's terrible. He waited for 20 minutes. He called me 3 times today so he could say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is going to be the coach.
Wow.
Of the Broncos. We have plenty more callers.
To be honest with you, I don't know what to say.
I don't even know what to say either, Jeff. I guess that's the first prank call on ATW in a while.
Yeah, we'll have to police that.
We're gonna have to police that. All right, moving on to the next guy. We'll move on to Eddie Stankiewicz. Maybe he'll ask you an Eagles question
I would love
because
that.
I know he is an Eagles fan. Stank, what's going on? What'd you think about it last caller? Hopefully you're better than that guy. That guy's a clown. He's a complete clown. He's in ATW jail.
What's going on, boys?
What's going on? All right, Stank, what do you want to talk about today?
Let's talk about the Eagles.
All right, let's do it.
Yes, right up my alley.
Jalen Hurts is trash.
You think Jalen Hurts is trash? Really, Cody?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hear it. What do you?
I don't know. He's showing some signs of being a great quarterback. I think Nick Sirianni is the good coach for him right now, and maybe he can make a playoff run. We got an easy schedule coming up.
It all starts Sunday.
All right. Listen, as much as that sounded completely ridiculous, I've said this myself. The NFC, the bottom of the NFC for the playoffs is extremely weak.
It is very top heavy, but if you take out those top teams, it's anyone's game for the wild card.
You guys still get to play the Giants twice.
Yeah, got the Jets in there, got the Washington twice.
Football team twice.
Yeah, you got the football team twice.
Well, I want to focus on the Raiders.
The Broncos too.
We need to focus on
that's a job against the Broncos.
The Raiders. We need to focus on the Las Vegas Raiders.
I think we're gonna win this Sunday.
Yeah, how are you feeling? Because I think we can beat them. Listen, Vegas is a weird team. One week they look like one of the best teams in the NFL, and then the next week they could look like a bottom dweller.
Is the game in Philadelphia?
No, it's in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
So Eddie, what Vegas team do you think we'll get? And not even that. Do you think? Obviously, you think we're gonna win. What do you think is your main reason why you think we're gonna win Sunday?
Well, Vegas all year has improved to be an inconsistent team, like you were just saying. And
definitely.
They last week they looked great they played Denver, right?
Yeah, they did.
Did they really look great though, or the Broncos just trash?
Well, yeah, both. But yeah, the Raiders have constantly looked great all year, and then go spoil it the next week by playing terrible. So I'm gonna rely off that. Hopefully, Hurts can throw the deep ball against that defense.
No, I agree, and I totally agree that he needs to throw better. You saw when we played Tampa Bay a few Thursdays ago, he just could not throw the ball. And you saw him miss some not easy passes, but passes that he should be able to make. And the thing is, I feel like he doesn't trust his progressions enough. I feel like a lot of times if he doesn't see his first read and it's not open, he's just going to try to run around and make something happen, which is good because he's able to do that. But I feel like sometimes he needs to have a little more trust in the routes. But then again, Sirianni's play calling is such a question mark. We don't run the ball ever.
No, he needs to start using Miles Sanders more. And I like Gainwell a lot too, actually.
I do too. You know what? He's been a lot better than I thought.
Honest question for both of you right now, because you've just been ripping apart Nick Sirianni. If Doug Peterson was still the coach, do you think that Jalen Hurts would be having a better season?
I don't know, but I don't think Peterson's play calling was this bad in the sense that he actually mixed in the run and the pass. It was more of a balance.
Also, did you guys see the Bills the other day run the Philly special?
I did see that.
But Stank, your thoughts?
You ran at the Bills?
No, on Peterson.
Oh, on Peterson. Yeah, I don't think he ran the ball a lot more than he runs the ball a lot more than Sirianni, obviously. But I don't think Hurts would be that much different. Their offensive play calling isn't that much different, like a lot of RPOs. But yeah, it's hard. It's really difficult to say, honestly. I think he'd be a little bit better though, definitely.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm looking to, it's kind of a minor thing, but we've had so many penalties. We need to be more disciplined. I feel like a lot of times we'll have a big chunk play and we just have it called back because of some stupid holding penalty. And we've had a lot of touchdowns. I remember the Kansas City game. We scored, I think, 2 or 3 touchdowns and got called back because of penalties. They need to clean that up.
They got touchdowns in the NFL, I'm pretty sure. Last week they showed that during the game.
I think we're the most penalized team in the league, too. We need to clean that up.
That's a terrible thing to have.
Oh, it's awful.
Penalties are killers.
Yeah, I think J.J. Arcega-Whiteside actually got a penalty that got a touchdown called back. That really got me enraged.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you, Stan, because I know we've chatted on the show, you, Jeffrey, and I. Where do you stand on Howie Roseman? Because I know there's some Eagles fans who are like, hey, this guy's been horrible lately. Where do you stand on the whole thing? Taking Jalen Hurts in the second or third round when they had Carson Wentz.
Second round
after the big deal that Carson Wentz just signed was definitely it was some kind of move. I don't even know how to really explain it. But where do you stand on Howie Roseman?
So first off, the years leading up to the Super Bowl, 2015, 2016, I thought he was a pretty good GM. I liked the draft picks he was making. I loved that we traded up to get Wentz. I liked the Derek Barnett pick at the time. But he's made too many mistakes constantly in the draft to the point where I don't know how he's still the GM. Like, yeah, he obviously assembled the Super Bowl team, which you have to give him credit for, but I don't like how he dealt with firing Peterson. And he passed on DK Metcalf for JJ Arcega-Whiteside. He passed on Justin Jefferson for Jalen Reagor. These guys are bums. And last draft, Devontae Smith looks great, but he still passed on Micah Parsons for Devontae Smith.
I don't know. I think Devontae Smith was a better
I'm
pick.
going to be honest. I think Devontae Smith is one of the better picks. Obviously, Micah Parsons.
That's really a good pick, but I think it's going to be hard to see.
Hey, you also passed on Mac Jones, too. I'd say he looks pretty good.
I don't know. I don't think we should have drafted a quarterback this draft.
I don't think so either, but I'm just saying that's what everyone's going to have to hear forever. It's going to be like, hey, the Broncos stuck with Teddy Bridgewater and didn't draft Mac Jones. That's what, like, the rest of my life is going to be probably. No, I'm just saying in general that's what it's going to be because I think Mac Jones is going to be a good quarterback. But
offensive coach next year, I think.
Well, who?
They need to hire like an offensive coach. They can't.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. I agree 100%. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way it can improve, right?
Mm-hmm. We're just stuck because like we're 2-4. We're not good enough to win the Super Bowl, obviously. But like, are we bad enough to tank? I don't know. I feel like they will have to make a decision coming up. Like, is Hurts the guy? And if not, do they blow it up and they start from scratch? I just don't know.
Well, so far from what you guys have seen, do you think Hurts is the guy? Yes or no?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's only week 7, right? We got a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a large chunk of the season left. Listen, he's shown some good signs. I mean, you see that he can turn like nothing into something. I mean, because his running ability, there's no question he can do stuff with his legs. He's definitely has to improve in his progression as a passer. I mean, he's not bad. I mean, I don't think he's terrible. I don't think he's great. I mean, it's just tricky because I think this is his only chance to prove that he's the guy. Because I think if he doesn't show more and we don't make the playoffs for like a 6-11 team, then I think we're gonna let him go.
Probably, and I don't really like any of the quarterbacks coming up in the draft this year, so I'm not too happy about that.
I like the guy from Ole Miss. I was watching him. I like him. He's the one I like the most.
What's his name again?
Corral.
He is good. I have seen him play.
I like him the best. I think he's the best. I really wouldn't want anyone else though. No one else really sticks out to me.
Eddie, do you think Sunday's a must win for the Eagles?
Must win. Season's over if we don't win it.
Yeah.
Join the club.
I agree.
Must win.
I'll see you guys at the tank party next week.
It's kind of crazy that if we win, we'll have the same record as the Broncos, considering they were 3-0. That's crazy.
All right, I'm going to be honest. Like, if the Broncos played those 3 teams they beat, they would lose to them today. They would lose to them.
Probably.
Like, they would be 0-6 if the schedule was flipped.
The Jags?
Yeah. No, I think the Jags would beat them, yeah.
Wow, that's saying something.
Right now.
Yeah, they're horrible. All right, Stank, anything else to add to the show today?
I don't think so, Cody. Thank you for having me on.
No problem, Stan. Thanks for chiming in. Glad we can make it work.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, thanks.
Me too.
All right, so are we going to take a break or are we going to talk for a little bit more?
Anything you want to add before the break?
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We still got a lot of stuff to talk about. We didn't even hit on baseball yet. Obviously,
that is true.
Doing a lot of NFL talk, and
there's some more NBA I kind of want to get into.
Yeah,
well.
I mean, the NBA, it's game 3. I mean, what else could you really talk about?
But did you see Steph Curry last night?
Yeah, Steph Curry's awesome. I said that. He was my MVP.
I want to get into that Celtics-Knicks game after the break too.
Oh, well, I have a feeling a couple callers are going to bring that up.
Yeah, so
there's a couple people still out there in the realm of ATW.
Yeah, so we'll definitely chime in with that after the break.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll take a quick break here on After the Whistle. But when we return, we will obviously dive into some NBA. We'll dive into some baseball as well. So stay tuned. We got a lot of more topics to cover here on the show. Welcome back to WLOY, Loyola Radio, streaming online at WLOY.org. and Campus TV channel 111.1. This is After the Whistle, Loyola's premier sports talk radio show with your host, Jeffrey Bazzi, alongside my co-host, Jimmy Cody. And before the break, we heard from a few guests, Eddie Rene and Eddie Stankiewicz. Is that his
And a prank caller.
and a prank caller,
A little jokester.
which he will remain unnamed.
Matt McHale.
It's Matt McHale.
It's Matt McHale.
And we heard some great insight. We were diving into some Ben Simmons news. That saga continues. We were diving into some Eagles talk as they prep for their game on the Strip on Sunday. We were dissecting the Broncos' tragic loss last night. Tragic in the sense that I think they should have won coming in.
No, there's no doubt that. That was a game they probably thought they had a chance in.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to move on, change it up here. We're going to dive into some MLB playoff talk. As you might know, the ALCS and NLCS, they're still ongoing. Tonight we have a Game 6 down in Houston between the Red Sox and the Astros. The Astros lead that series 3-2 after they won Game 5 in Boston. An absolute beatdown, mind you. It was a final score of 9-2, or 9-1, excuse me. 9-2 was the Game 4 score. And Jimmy, the main storyline for me in this series is, besides Game 1, all of these games have not been close. I mean, you look at Game 1, it was back and forth. Houston ended up winning 5-4 thanks to a Carlos Correa home run. But Boston wins Game 2 pretty comfortably 9-5. They absolutely destroy Houston in Game 3, 12-3. Houston comes back in Game 4, wins 9-2, and then they win Game 5, like I mentioned, 9-1. So besides the first game, none of these games have been competitive. Do we know who's starting for Houston tonight? Because I know Red Sox are rolling out Nathan Eovaldi. Because Houston's
looking right now,
starting pitching, it's a question mark in the sense that they don't have a lot of true starters. Considering Justin Verlander has been out for the whole season, basically, and Lance McCullers is their other good pitcher. He is not playing in the series due to an injury. So their pitching's kind of been a carousel. They've held their own, though. I mean, the last 2 games, they've only given up a combined 3 runs. But this has been a crazy back and forth series.
They're pitching Luis Garcia tonight.
Luis Garcia, okay.
Yeah, who so far in the playoffs is 0-for-1 with a 45 earned run average.
So he must have gotten lit up.
Yeah, he got lit up.
So originally I picked Houston to win the series. I thought it was going to be very close, and it has been, just considering Boston's a scrappy team. I mean, Houston is too, but like you see Boston, like they have these guys like Kike Hernandez and Kyle Schwarber. They have these guys that just show up at the right time. And you've seen, how about the Grand Slams too?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a Boston Grand Slam party. But who do you think wins tonight? Do you think Houston closes it out, or is this going 7?
I think Houston closes it out. I mean, I said I liked the Astros at the beginning of the series. Sticking with that. I think the Astros can also win the World Series. I've been on the record saying that on the show. I just thought that their lineup was the best. Not in the AL for sure. And, you know, don't get me wrong. What's on the other side is, I mean, we'll get into that in a sec. It's definitely going to be a daunting task for either the Red Sox or the Astros in the World Series. But one thing I will say is I think the Astros are just kind of better equipped to handle either of those two teams. And I just do think that they are overall the better team. Now, with that said, you said the Red Sox are a scrappy team. I agree with that. This isn't a team that has, major stars. You know what I mean? Obviously, Kike Hernandez is a good player. Xander Bogaerts is probably their most well-known player. He's probably their biggest star, but also Devers. I mean, he's a good player
JD
too.
Martinez.
JD Martinez, Verdugo. I mean, they have good players. There's no doubt about that. I mean, they don't really have anyone who's like, a top 5 player in the league, but I mean, all very good players. I think there's no doubt about that. And they're definitely a deep team. And I don't think it's surprising that they got here. But with that being said, I still just like the Astros. I mean, I also want to say too, I mean, I know the whole cheating scandal that went on. If they win this year, does that kind of like cross it out in your mind? Or are you still holding that against them? Like, I'm interested to see what people have to say about that.
That's tough. That's really tough. I don't think it etches it away forever. I mean, I feel like the Astros will always be associated as being the cheaters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like they're just the villain. I mean, there's always that one team, I think, in every league that pops up every few years that everyone doesn't like. And I don't want to compare them to like the Warriors, but I feel like a lot of people didn't like the Warriors, especially when Durant joined the team. This whole super team thing, like if you can't beat them, join them. It's an unfair comparison considering the Astros cheated and the Warriors didn't.
Yeah.
But like, No, I mean, I don't think it tarnishes their legacy. I mean,
It does.
or it does. I mean, sorry. I still feel like people are not going to forget the cheating scandal.
No, I don't think people will either. I was just interested in what you had to say.
Unless, of course, they find that they cheated this year too.
All right, so really quickly, let's before we go back to the calls here, because we do have some calls waiting. Other series, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the overall.
It's obviously
series
3-2, and
the Braves are up 3-2.
When Atlanta is up in 3-1 or has a 28-3 lead, it's usually never a good sign. So.
Well, the storyline I'm bringing up here is these games have been very close. Besides the last two, where you look at game 1, Atlanta squeaks it out 3-2. They steal game 2 at home. They come back from behind, win 5-4. LA barely wins in game 3. And then game 4, Atlanta wins 9-2. They have a commanding 3-1 lead, and then obviously the Dodgers absolutely crushed them last night, 11-2. The Braves have been the better team, I think.
They have been.
Listen, the Dodgers are more talented.
If the Dodgers win tonight, I think they win.
I agree.
I think if the Braves don't win tonight,
and you know what? What two better guys to have? So Max Scherzer starting tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not going to jump to conclusions.
I mean, Mad Max is probably going to be on his game.
And I mean, don't count out Ian Anderson either. He's not bad. But I mean, this is Max Scherzer we're talking about. I mean, hypothetically, I don't want to jump too far here, but hypothetically, Dodgers win tonight. They tie it at 3. You have Walker Buehler starting game 7. I mean, what more could you ask for as a Dodgers fan?
Exactly.
With your 2 best pitchers on the hill for your 2 most important games this season. I think Atlanta, if they want to win the series, they got to do it tonight. I don't think they want to fall into the trap of another game 7 where they have all this stuff going on in their head about, they're going to blow another lead.
Yeah.
I think they want to avoid that at all costs. So, but I don't know. I think Atlanta's looked a bit like the better team. It's just, it's so hard to predict.
So real quick, you have to pick a winner of the series. Who are you picking?
I still think I think Atlanta's going to get it done. Somehow they're going to get it done.
All right,
I just have more faith in them as a team.
I'll take the Dodgers. I really do think. I said when they were down, when it was 2-0, I thought the Dodgers were going to come back.
I think Atlanta's due to break through one of these years. They've been really good for the last few years.
It's been like 20 years, Jeff.
But like they've won 4 NL East in a row. At some point, they got to do something besides lose in the NLCS.
I maybe. I mean, they've only won 1 playoff series, and that was last year. So
yeah, and this year. That's true.
Before this year was only 1 year.
That is correct.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, so let's bring in another caller. We got Bobby McGinnis. Bobby, what's going on? How you doing today?
I think
Hello?
Should work now. Can you talk, Bobby? Can you hear us?
Why say this?
Oh, there you are.
Good. We can hear you. We're good.
We can hear you. All right. Bobby.
I think we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. You're
good. Yeah.
Talk.
Sorry, guys. I can't hear you.
You can't hear us?
Really?
Oh, no. Well.
Are you on mute, Jimmy, or is that anything?
No, I'm on mute, but that doesn't matter because he's on. He just can't hear us. It's something with
Hello?
him. So, yeah, we can talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to. All right, we'll have to move on without him. Unfortunately, it's okay. All right, so back on to the topic of baseball here. Obviously, we're talking about the 2 teams. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, if the Astros do win, like I think they're going to. I mean, who would they rather play, the Braves or the Dodgers? I think it has to be the Braves, right?
Oh, by far. I mean, the Braves are the worst team. I mean, they're clearly a better matchup for the Astros, I would think. I think Astros-Dodgers would be such a fascinating matchup in the World Series. But I don't know. For some reason, I don't think we're getting Astros-Dodgers. I think one of those other teams, the Braves, the Red Sox, is going to find a way.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the Braves are up, too, they have an advantage there.
Yeah.
Who would you say? I'm curious. Who's like the team you think is going to win it all? Like, who's the best team in your eyes right now of the 4? Because I don't think it's the Dodgers. I don't think they've looked the best of the 4. I mean, Houston and Boston, one team the one night looks like a great team, and the next night they fold over and they can't score and they give up 10 runs. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I think all these teams definitely have their flaws. I think nobody's doubting that the Dodgers are the team that's supposed to be here, right? I mean, they're the team that has the highest payroll. They have they made these great moves in the middle of the season. Like, they're supposed to be here. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone's doubting about that. And they're obviously the team to beat until they're gone. I don't think anyone's going to be saying anything else besides that. I think that a team like the Braves is still on edge until they have the Dodgers defeated.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to get into our next caller, Tom Spallone?
Yes, hopefully.
I heard Bob. Bob told me he's just going to get on through Tom, so we'll see how this works.
Yeah, let me make sure their mic is on.
Yeah, no, it was Bob's computer or something. So
hopefully it works this time. Second time.
All right, there they are. There they are in pair.
Can you hear us?
Bob, can you hear us? You got to connect to the audio.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened on my laptop there, but I'm joining through Tom, so we should be good.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Well, hit us up, Bob. What are you thinking?
Guys, thanks for having me on the show. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm happy to be on.
Love it.
It's an honor to have you on.
So I know you guys were talking a little bit about baseball right now, and I'm not as interested in the postseason right now just because my Mets failed to make it. And I really don't want to see the Braves make it to the World Series.
I agree more with you, Bobby.
I want to touch on something that Jimmy Cody said earlier. I don't know how this man can sit here and defend Ben Simmons. It really baffles me.
Really? Okay. Oh, no.
Say more.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So Jimmy, you say that basketball is a team game, right?
Yeah, it is.
Then how come Ben Simmons doesn't have to be a part of that team and not show up to practice? He can leave when
that wasn't the part that I that wasn't the part that I defended. I wasn't even necessarily blaming Ben Simmons or defending Ben Simmons. I was blaming Doc Rivers. I was blaming Ben Simmons' teammates because I feel like they have an equal responsibility.
It's not their fault that he doesn't participate.
It's their fault that they lost to the Hawks, and then they all threw him under the bus after. Yes,
the man had 3 games under 10 points against the Hawks. He averaged 14 all year.
Ben Simmons is in 5 guys. He's not all the guys on the court.
He isn't. But if you look at his
defense too.
But if you look at his plus minus, it's in the negative for almost the entire postseason.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, well, if Doc Rivers is as great a coach as they make him out to be, why didn't he take Ben Simmons out of the game?
You know what? Bobby makes up a great point here because, we all know his playmaking and his rebounding, defending, that's all of his strengths.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? He didn't really do much of that in that series.
You know what?
If he's so bad, why didn't Hall of Fame coach Doc Rivers take him out?
He did. He only had 25 minutes, I think, in Game 4.
Well, and they still lost. So that falls on other guys on the team. Maybe the depth is
Jimmy, we're not talking about just the postseason, though. This man is serving as a distraction in the same way that Kyrie Irving is to the Nets.
Well, Kyrie Irving's a different situation, I think.
It's actually a very similar situation. You have 2 players who are – the Kyrie situation this year is a little different. We've seen it in the past where Kyrie leaves for an extended amount of time during the season.
For no reason.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
So now it's
Kyrie also wasn't thrown under the bus by his teammates as soon as they just suffered a collapse in the playoffs, in which all the guys on the team suffered the collapse, not just one person. I'm just saying, I just don't think there's the same situations at all.
Well, all right. Regardless of Kyrie versus Ben Simmons should have swallowed his pride, saddled up, and accepted his role on the 76ers. But instead, he couldn't handle the pressure from the fans, and he let it get the best of him. And now he's in a very, very sticky situation. And I'm not sure what the rest of his basketball future will be. I mean, whether he gets traded, I don't think he's ever going to play in a 76ers uniform again.
Probably not, and that'd probably be the best thing for him. I mean, I wouldn't want to go to a team where everyone just threw me under the bus after we, the whole team, we lost. You know what I mean? I mean, they threw him under the bus within.
You see it all the time, though.
Jimmy, a half hour of the game ending.
Jimmy, I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're not cutting me off.
Clippers fans, NBA fans, everyone wanted to blame Playoff P. Did Paul George sit out and cry about it? No, he stepped up and he's been improving and he's been a solid basketball player. You see it all the time.
Sure. No, I'm definitely not. I'm not disagreeing. Ben Simmons could have totally had a better attitude towards the whole thing.
You know what, though?
But every guy is different, right? I mean, every guy reacts to a situation differently.
And that's why I don't feel bad for the guy.
Paul George might be a guy who responds best to tough love. Maybe
it's because he's a true star.
He's professional.
I don't think it has anything to do with being a true star. I think it has to do with everybody reacts differently to the situation. Clearly, Ben Simmons if he's sitting out now because of his mental health, don't you think that's, I mean, maybe to the Sixers, not credit, but maybe to their corner, they may have never known. And I'm not trying to blame them for this, but clearly it's a guy who's a little bit, he probably doesn't do the best with tough love if he's got some mental health issues going on.
You know what? I think I would be okay with a little tough love if I was getting paid over $100 million.
That's my point.
Sure,
that's exactly my point.
Anybody, we all could say that now because we're not getting paid $100 million.
No,
obviously.
I hear you, but you say like, oh, like if you're Ben Simmons, like maybe it's a good thing, like you wouldn't want to play for the Sixers again. I'll tell you what, Sixers fans should be very happy about what's going on because they have an absolute baller with Tyrese Maxey. I saw that kid play at Kentucky. He's a beast. And in the short minutes that he got last year, he really showed off. And guess what? In their season opener this year, what did he drop? 20 points?
Something like that, yeah.
Assists. I mean, the kid was all over the place. I think he played upwards of like 35 minutes. He's going to be a really true talent. He almost led them in scoring behind Embiid and Korkmaz. Each had, I think, like 22.
Yeah, he's good. Like, don't get me wrong. He can ball, like you said. It's just, but they're not. I don't think they're as good, obviously, without Simmons. Because Simmons defensively, I mean, it's hard to replace that. I mean, he's a top 2-3 defender in the league. I mean, at his position too, like 6'10", long arms, like that's hard to replace.
If they have this great player though, in Tyrese Maxey, why don't they just move on from Ben Simmons?
Well, that's what they're asking for. They're doing right now.
Well, they asked for 3 first-round picks. If they really want to move on from him, how about ask for something reasonable?
You obviously can't trade away the guy for a bag of chips.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're going to trade him for a bag of chips. They're going to get something in return. There's plenty of teams who I think would. I mean, I don't think there's plenty. I think there's a couple of teams who would want Ben Simmons.
They want to get maximum value.
How about the Kings? Would you be okay with Marvin Bagley? Because he has an awful situation there. He doesn't want to play for them.
That's interesting you bring that up.
But that's not a fair trade.
I don't know.
You don't think that's a fair trade?
No one's doing Bagley for Simmons.
Why? I don't think Bagley's been that impressive.
So if you're another team, why would you want Ben Simmons? Is there even a market for him right now?
Bob, I've been saying the same thing to Sixers fans all the time. I've been saying all summer that I didn't think that he was going to be worth that much. And they're like, trade him for Damian Lillard. They're all morons who think that Damian Lillard is going to want to come to the Sixers. Yeah. Why? I have no idea. But I mean,
does he want to be in Portland though? That's my question. Like, does he really want to be in Portland long term? Because they're not as good as the Sixers.
I mean,
if they're bad, I mean, if they're below 500 or like around 500, I mean, like November, December, like why would you want to stay there?
You know what though? We've seen this happen in sports before.
Right now.
We've seen this happen in
best player under the bus, or not second best player. I'm sorry.
We've seen this happen in sports before, where you get a guy. We saw it in football, like Antonio Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He's a superstar talent when he's out there on the field, but the off the field issues and the antics are what kind of makes teams not want to sign him. So,
and when he's into the right situation, like he is in Tampa right now, seems to work out pretty good.
But what I'm saying is that didn't happen right away. I think the Ben Simmons situation, if he continues to hold out, we might see him eventually cut by the 76ers. And obviously,
that's a lot of money to cut. That's a lot of money to cut.
Well, you're paying him a lot of money regardless not to play right now.
Well, didn't Daryl Morey just say, he said, I don't care. We'll hold on to him for 4 years.
Yeah.
He did say that.
He said that the other day.
It's the same. We're seeing a similar situation also pan out. I mean, Deshaun Watson has a lot of off the field issues, but they want to get maximum value for their player. So if you're 76ers ownership, you're not in a rush to get rid of him. You want to get that maximum value.
Bob, I'm going to be honest though. I think the NBA is when it comes to trades, it's completely different than the NFL. The NFL is a top to bottom league. Like in the NBA, I would say the players are the ones who run the show.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
It's different. Like I think Ben Simmons has a lot more power than someone like Deshaun Watson does. And Deshaun Watson even has a no trade clause.
That is true.
I still don't think he has that much power compared to Ben Simmons.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking about NFL, Jimmy, I don't know if you remember this, but after the Broncos started 3-0, I looked you in your eyes and I said, the Broncos will be 3-5 by the end of the stretch. Right now, they're 3-5, well on their way to 3-5.
No, I mean,
you spoke it into existence almost. You're close. You're one loss away.
Bob, I'll say this about the Broncos. I think my whole life has just stopped ever since they scored that first touchdown against the Ravens and we're up 7-0, because I looked at myself and I said, we're legit. And since then, I think I can't tell you what has happened in life since then because it's just all been a blur because I just still have no idea what has happened. I mean, it's just been such a disaster. There's no doubt about it.
The problem is with the Broncos,
they don't have the talent. They don't have
incompetence in the front office.
Yeah.
They have not one, but two below average quarterbacks. Their defense has been, I'd say, pretty average this year. You put
Average is kind.
You've put in a lot of investments. I mean, Patrick Surtain. I won't hate on him.
Well, though. Kyle Fuller.
I was gonna say I won't hate on him and their secondary in general, but
Kyle Fuller's been terrible. He just got benched. I mean, he went from a Pro Bowler last year to being benched. That's terrible.
I mean, they signed him this offseason, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like they're making all the it looks like they're making all the right moves in the offseason, but they're just not panning out.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. I mean, also too, I don't know where you stand on this, but I mean, I've been saying it for a while. I've said it since the end of last year. These coaches are not going to get the job done. They're just not. Vic Fangio is not bringing the Broncos to Super Bowl. I mean, you know, you're in the same situation. Adam Gase was not bringing the Jets to Super Bowl. Right. You know what I mean? When it's evident with a coach, you got to cut your losses right away so you can move on.
Yeah, and with the Jets, I'm also nervous. The problem is you see teams hit on coaches. The Bills, they hit with McDermott, and Josh Allen has developed perfectly in that system. It even looks like I believe the head coach, what's his name, Staley, on the Chargers.
Brandon Staley, yeah.
That looks like a hit as well. And
it's a little early. I think they look good, but you know, here's the thing. I actually didn't.
We also saw Herbert though last year.
I was gonna say, like, he kind of walked into a perfect scenario. Like the Chargers got healthy on defense this year.
All it took was a punctured lung too,
and they had Justin Herbert, like kind of a perfect situation.
No, all right, but I think we've seen Herbert take a step as good as he was last year, winning Rookie of the Year. He's taken a step forward this year, and
he definitely has. With the exception of last game, he's played great in every single game.
I would have to credit the coach, and I'll probably also credit the health of Mike Williams this year because when he's healthy, he's amazing.
That's exactly what I've been trying to tell Jimmy. I'm telling you, Mike Williams, he's that perfect sidekick for Keenan Allen.
I know, and as soon as you said that, he had two games in a row.
Yeah, well, when he's right though, he's special talent.
Well, I guess I'll see when he tears the Broncos up for like 180 yards and
you know what?
5 touchdowns.
I think like we said, I'm gonna pump the brakes a little bit on the Chargers. I don't think that they're there just yet.
I don't either, and also they're the kings of choking everything away.
I think that loss to the Ravens proved that they still have a lot of learning to do before they become that dynasty team.
It's definitely a wake-up call for sure.
I disagree about the performance. And I think, honestly, more than anything, I think that performance is just kind of a dud. Like, I am, like, crossing it off. I really just think it was them going to the East Coast and just not being ready to play. And, like, I know that a lot of you guys are just going to be like, how can he just cross that off the list? Like, look at the Packers against the Saints. You think that's really the team they are? Sometimes teams just travel and then they just lay a dud.
I do agree with you. I'm not going to overreact to one loss, but I think part of you saying that is also because you're not a big fan of Lamar Jackson.
That I agree with you there.
I mean, I don't think that really has anything to do with the situation.
No, it does because you're not.
Lamar Jackson didn't play that great that game. Them running the ball right down the Chargers' throats on defense was why they did well. And then also, it didn't help that the Chargers couldn't move the ball at all. I mean, were the Ravens' defense that good? I mean, maybe not.
Jimmy, when are you going to start giving credit to Lamar Jackson?
I gave him credit 2 weeks ago. I said he just had his best passing performance ever.
Exactly, but you have to say passing performance because time after time, you keep calling him a running back. He's much better than any.
I haven't called him a running back.
I've always said he's a better
player on this show this year. I haven't called him a running back at all on this show.
He's a better passer than people give him credit for. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, you know what, Jimmy, I am.
Listen, let me know when Lamar Jackson actually wins something, okay? All right.
How about when he won MVP 2 years ago? And you know what? He's gonna have a chance to do it again, Jimmy.
He won in Denver.
Nice. He beat the Broncos in the regular season and won a regular season MVP. The guy has been a
regular season MVP. Playoffs. When's the last time the Broncos had an MVP?
I don't even know. Okay, Peyton Manning.
I don't even know if he won MVP that year.
Really quickly,
we
have about a minute left here.
The record for touchdowns.
We have about a minute left, Bobby. I just want to get your take real quick. The Knicks, what a game they had Wednesday night. I know you're a Knicks fan. like, do you obviously? I think they can replicate what they did last year, kind of surprising everyone, being like a 4 seed. Do you think they can take it a step further?
Jeffrey, there's only two teams. Stephen A. Smith said it the best. There's only two teams that are actually better than the Knicks right now in the Eastern Conference, and that's the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks. Besides that, you saw yesterday or 2 days ago, the Knicks should have beat the Celtics in regulation.
Yeah,
if Kemba Walker doesn't turn the ball over twice, they beat him in regulation. Instead, the game goes to double OT. The team doesn't give up. Evan Fournier, he looks like a really good signing.
What a pickup.
It's been one game also. Let's pump the brakes. Like, I know that Evan Fournier has been playing better the last 2 years, and I do agree. I think it's a good signing. But also, I think other credit you got to give to Obi Toppin played really well too.
Yeah, I mean, 14 points from Obi Toppin, much better improvement than what we saw from his rookie campaign.
And Julius Randle also finally played like Julius Randle again, which we did not see in the playoffs at all.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't settle for outside shots a lot, because I think he has a tendency to do that, if he just goes in the paint and does what he does.
Obi Toppin.
Another thing that I like.
Yeah, Julius Randle's hitting jump shots.
I know, just sometimes when he's not hitting, he still tries to settle too much, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, also, I will say this. I liked when they put Toppin and Julius Randle on the floor at the same time.
Jimmy, I said that. So I said that on my show the other day. I said that I would like to see Coach Thibodeau use Toppin and Randle on the floor at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Although they play a very similar role, I think it would really expand the floor, and teams won't be able to double team Julius Randle as much as they did.
I definitely think it's a good move, and unfortunately, I have to cut you off because it's 2:00 and we have to go, and there's another show after us. So we will pick that comment up another time. We will definitely pick that up another time. And then, all right, so that's going to be the end of After the Whistle. Jeffrey, throwing it back to you.
Bobby, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate the insight.
Thanks for having me, guys. Real quick, I know you guys got to run. A little shameless plug. Call It a Comeback podcast is on graycom.com. And you know what? Me and Tom are going to have both of you guys on very soon. We record on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
Can't wait.
All right. We'll be in touch. And I wish we could get Tom on. Unfortunately, you talked our ear off. So it's okay. Me and Tom had a great sports discussion last night about the Broncos and their failures. So it's okay. He'll get on Monday or Tuesday or whatever.
Thanks again, Bobby. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Right, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening to After the Whistle today. We'll be back on Monday at 1 p.m. dissecting Week 7 in the NFL and a lot more. We once again thank you for taking the time to listen today, and we'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend.